Alright everybody, now in this video I'm going to start to show you how you can take inputs from a user who's running your M file. Interestingly enough, an M file doesn't necessarily need to be just a one and done single value proposition. You could actually run a code that requires additional inputs to run, so you could actually make it almost like a program that's a more complicated program that you can define variables each time you run it. So what do I mean by that? Well, the input command is exactly how you can do this. Now the input, again, if you type in help input, you can get a good sense of everything it does. But in this case, what it mainly does is defines a variable from a person, from a user when you run it. So for example, I could take a thing called value and say value is equal to input. And in this input, what I put inside the parentheses is going to be the information that is going to be asked by the MATLAB to the user. So in this case, I could say, give me a number. That's it. Enter that, end that, and actually, I'll put a little colon after there so it makes a little bit more sense. Hit enter, and you'll see you get this little thing that says give me a number, and it's just waiting patiently. If I type in 15, it says now value is equal to 15, value is 15. Fairly straightforward, right? It's not more complicated than that. That's all there is to the input user function. So in this case here, if I went back and said value, give me a number, or actually I don't have to do that. I can hit enter, and it can be an array as well. It's going to be any kind of input value that MATLAB can take, right? That it knows. I could actually make it a string or a character. If I entered in the apostrophes, it'll just create a value of a string value rather than a number value. Even though I said ask for a number, you can do that. But if you want to enter that way, you have to enter apostrophes. If you want a person to give you an input that is definitely a character or a string value or text, but you don't want them to enter in the apostrophes or have to, you can specify that by saying, say, enter your favorite band. And then you can say colon here. And now I'll put a space in here so it makes it a little bit prettier. And then all you have to do is comma s. That specifies that you're expecting a string value. And now if I just type in any band, say Primus, and you'll get a value Primus, right? That is the general way that you can kind of create this. So how does this look? Maybe in more practical terms or more useful terms? Well, let's look back to that pressure function that we had created, pressure drop equation that we created before. So I'm going to go to open, or maybe not, open, oh, cancel. Let's go to open pressure drop. And I'm going to turn this into not an M file, but just a regular script file. So I'm just going to delete this little doohickey here, this little doohickey here, and delete this, and we'll recall this save as pressure drop input. So in this case now, I'm going to have a single diameter. D is equal to, well, we'll actually do inputs. So I can say Q is equal to input of, and give me a flow rate in, I forgot what I said it was, grams per minute or second. I forget. Give me a flow rate. And then I can say D is equal to input give me a diameter in centimeters. And we can put little things after this. This doesn't really matter too much, but we can do that. And now, if I click run here, go over here, it's asking for a flow rate. I can say 10. It's asking me for a diameter. I could say 1, and well, I hid all the data, but you can see over here delta P per X is now giving me the pressure drop for the system, and that is it. That's exactly how you can use the inputs in MATLAB as a way of controlling your data set and your inputs that you want to see. And so, like I said, I encourage you to play with this a little bit, look at it, go to Help File, Input, and learn a little bit more about how to do this. Like I said, how you can do a string, how you do other things. You could even actually ask it to, say, create an input that has several lines long with a /n. We'll talk about a little bit later, and how we can use this to not just the script information that we have here isn't just for inputs, but how we can actually use it as outputs or displaying to make things a little bit prettier than just outputting pure and raw variables. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you in the next video.